If you're joining and you're popping in on this unscheduled pop-up live stream, this virtual experience to the Magnolia and St. Lawrence cemeteries, then say hi at any time, let me know, and then I can say hi back to you as well. It means a lot to me. Hey Sarah, hello. Hi Kent, hope you guys are doing well over there. Well, let's start up, huh? Now there's a cemetery right across the street this way. It's not the way we're gonna go, but I might as well just quickly show you over the wall. And we get our first look at an angel oak, excuse me, not an angel oak, a live oak, with this Spanish moss, which we learned from Bill Reynolds when we were in Beaufort is neither moss nor Spanish, but gosh, is it pretty. Yesterday, I was down in Tampa, Florida, and I had the great privilege of hanging out with David and Susan Edson, who, ironically, were my high school sweethearts, or who are my high school sweethearts' parents from was it 20 years ago. I hadn't seen them in decades, and they talked about taking this Spanish moss and putting it onto other trees to help spread it to keep it moving fast. Yeah, thank you, Sarah and Rebecca. It is really beautiful. I completely agree with you. And Francis, hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Well, Mike, you know where I am right now. I'm up at Magnolia Cemetery, around the corner for, what is it, Sancho's, Mexican place. So if you end up stream bombing me, I'll completely understand. And stream bombing is when someone is watching your live stream and they just show up in the background, as Todd Duran did when we did that live stream from Mobile, Alabama. So we're not going this way. We're going a different way right now. We're headed across the street as I give you my nice slow pan, and we're going to walk over into this cemetery. So 1850 is when they started building it out. Originally, Magnolia Cemetery was Santi's, Rebecca. So it's not Sancho's. The cemetery originally starts coming together in 1850, but actually the cemetery in the Magnolia Cemetery was in a different location to begin with, and it ends up getting moved over here. Now there used to be more structures in this space, but a lot of them have been, they were destroyed during the Union armies, the federal occupation of the area. So we lost some of the original structures, but the cemetery is all still here. Now we've just gone 3:25, so we've got plenty of time. My goal is to spend an hour with you guys, but I'll always spend as much time with you as we want to and as we can. There's a lot of things to see here. There's a donation box, which on my way out I'll put something in, but you guys don't have to. I'll do it for us on our behalf, just to show that out of respect for the space for letting us come through. So most people will end up driving along through the cemetery and exploring it, but I've parked my car at the front, and we're gonna walk on through and take a look at some of the beautiful plants, the cemetery, some of the old Charleston families and their names. Maybe we'll even see an alligator and some other life. Patricia Lopez, good to see you again. Thanks for coming back, and you're right, it is incredibly peaceful. So now there's a lot of different ways to go in this space, which is one of the things that I really liked about the Magnolia Cemetery as I'd come and visit it when I was living here a few years ago, in 2016 actually. Gosh, time flies. That's 5 years already. And part of it is that you can get a little bit lost in here. To the left, the path that I did not take just then was towards Green Hill. And I believe if I go this way, we're going to get to the area where the crew of the Hunley is interred. The Hunley was a Confederate service ship, a CSS, as it were, and it was a submarine. It was the first submarine, and it was used to try to balance the somewhat lopsided power that the Union had over the Confederacy during this. And this submarine had a couple of problems. One was that they hadn't really solved for a way to circulate the air out of it. Some Canadian geese there. Just a shout out to Teague and Shannon if they happen to show up. Here's a mausoleum here in the Magnolia Cemetery chapel area. It's very pretty as well. And more of the Spanish moms. I'm also doing this live stream a little bit for the guides that we've been working with lately. Not as a training, just as an example of how you can go a little bit slower and enjoy the space without kind of turning left, turning right too fast, and really get a sense of a landscape. Gosh, you could imagine just sitting on this bench, enjoying the day, looking out into that pond. You see that there's cars coming around back and forth, and I'm walking, so folks are probably wondering what I'm doing. Now, I did a quick circle loop inside of the space just to get a feeling of which data card would be the best one. If you do notice that I'm starting to get bad signal, please let me know, because I'll walk faster. So anytime, like it's a team effort. It's like as if I was talking at a lecture hall and you couldn't hear me in the back, you'd want to say, hey, can't hear you in the back. And then that'll let me know to walk faster or try to change something and all the rest of it to make sure you get the best signal that you can. It does seem that T-Mobile is stronger here than AT&T at the moment. I mean, and I'll tell you right now, guys, what we're looking at here is just the start of it. There's so much beauty for us to exhibit in this peaceful, super peaceful place, exactly as Patricia said it was. Very, very peaceful. Hi, Nikki. Oh, New Zealand. You know, New Zealand's a place that I've been wanting to go for a long time, and I haven't managed it. When I first moved to Berlin in 2003, it was only supposed to be. I ended up getting stuck there for 10 years. First falling in love with a young woman I met there, and then falling in love with the city after it didn't work out so well with a young woman. But it derailed my plans to go to Oceania and spend a bit of time traveling around on my British passport through Australia and New Zealand on like kind of a working holidays visa. Able to help you leave the fantastic magical island or islands that you live in or on, and help you travel a little bit right now. It's going to come back. We're all going to be there, and until then we can do some virtual travel. A little bit of wind here. Just going to try to cup my microphone and protect it a little bit from the wind as we walk underneath this live oak here. Start to get a feeling for some of the cemetery space. Now, I am every once in a while going to curse and because it feels like, and there are these little black bugs that keep landing on me. Thank goodness for a fair breeze right now, which is helping keep some of them off of me. Otherwise, yeah, have small welts all around. I really like this. When you come to one of these cemeteries and you can see this space which has like a little metal fence, metal gating around it, and it just shows you that this was a family plot area. So these folks were all related to one another. And you start to get a sense of, although in a little disrepair, right? Fences come off. You wonder, did that family die out? Are they no longer all there? I've never been in this space at night. I don't think I could probably get into the space in the evening. Hi, Michelle Sandeman, my mother. I love you. Thank you for making sure I never got fed to wolves and carrying me inside of you for 9 months. Much appreciated. I always call my mom on my birthday to thank her, because even though I don't really remember my birthday, I know she does. So Jeanette's asking me, for those folks who aren't watching on Facebook right now, quick tech question: what platform do you use to stream to both Facebook and YouTube simultaneously? Seems to work really well. So, Jeanette, I use a software called Prism Live, and you can get it from either the App Shop or from the Google Play Shop. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's a little buggy at times, and it's software. So how it works with your iPhone or your Android, or how it works with the programs, I never would have thought I would have become an expert in this stuff. It is not what I wanted to know how to do necessarily, but it's tough times, right? So you pivot, you learn, you teach yourself, and you keep on growing and educating yourself. This statue, which you can't see because it's backlit right now so well, you see the silhouette of it, but there's a plaque that says, "In memory of the sons of Charleston, who fell around her walls, who sleep on many battlefields in Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and North Carolina, and who lie in distant graves around their northern prisons. They died for their state." And we can see here in front, hey Lourdes, bars and stars, and I believe that when it comes in the corner like that, that is a Confederate battle flag, is what it was. And I'm a big believer in never blaming soldiers for the orders that they carry out on behalf of the governments which they are ordered to serve. So even though I find the actions of the Confederacy morally and ethically reprehensible, it's hard to blame the young men and old men and women who gave their lives up on behalf of the Confederacy to do what they were ordered to do. And maybe many of them believed in what they were doing. Maybe some of them didn't. I know that in the Second World War, there were many Germans who were ordered to do things that they didn't believe in. And I don't think you can blame soldiers for carrying out the orders of their governments. And that's part of the reason why I feel so strongly about doing these live streams. Because ultimately, the more understanding that we have for different people and for each other, the harder it is for governments to tell us to do things that we don't agree with. Because, well, we already know other people. We know people, who are like us, and we can celebrate the small nuances and differences rather than fall victim to the in-group, out-group bias that governments often want us to have. I think that's why some governments want us to build walls rather than bridges. Because if there's a wall between you and other people, you don't have any information about them. If there's a bridge, you make up your own opinions. So don't blame the soldiers for the actions of their governments, just to say. Yeah, sure. Jeanette, hey, listen, in all seriousness, I am really happy to set up 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it takes for us to go through, and I'll do a technical walkthrough with you on Prism. I do this for people all the time at this point, and I just really see live streaming as being an incredible opportunity for us to stay connected right now until we can really be reconnected. So absolutely, we'll reach out and we'll make that happen. Shannon, hey Shannon, I already gave you a shout out. I shout you out at the beginning of every live stream. So, yeah, Lourdes says on Facebook, every time I travel, one stop should be a cemetery. It's become a tradition, and it's true. Travel, cemeteries are a place that I like to go and visit, as well as, interestingly enough, supermarkets. I like to go and see how people eat and what they eat and how their supermarkets are laid out. I think that travel shouldn't be just about culture and history. There's like an anthropology aspect to it, where we have an opportunity to learn, how other cultures and peoples have evolved, and from doing that, learn a heck of a lot about ourselves as well. All right, well, there's some cars over to the right of me. Oh, thank you. Oh, gosh, Shannon, thank you. All right, is that better now with a gimbal? It's me focusing on too many things. What a beautiful tree. A little bit of wind here today. It's good. It's keeping the chiggers off me, the bugs off of me. This here looks like this was the grave memorial of Thomas W. Claggett. He died on July 3rd, 1862. Born January 15th, 1832. So what is that? 30 years. Oh no, sorry. There are multiple people marked in this space. I apologize. The Steam Fire Engine Company. Oh my goodness. No, it wasn't that they all passed at the same time. But everyone who is memorialized in this space died in the 1860s. It's a long time ago. And yes, it is Shannon. This is Spanish moss. Let me get you a little bit closer to it. Spanish moss, neither Spanish nor moss, and waving in the wind. There was a time where they were stuffing Model T seats with it, I believe, or car seats, and then they discovered that all these chiggers, these bugs, were living inside of it, and they were, feasting upon their rich reward, the people who sat on top of those seats. Now, I'll just do Sorry, Nikki, I was asking you about that sunshine because I could see that it was quite windy today in Edinburgh. Nikki writes, "Hi Chris, I see you have stolen the Scottish sunshine," and I really apologize for that. Edinburgh, for you folks who haven't been before, is a must visit. It is one of those incredibly special places in the world, and when it's normal, so to say, it's you feel the kind of Jekyll and Hyde of it all, the vampire stories, the body snatchers, the grave robbers of it. But when it's sunny, the stone, this granite stone that you have, so many of the buildings are built of in Edinburgh. It just sparkles, it lights up, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And you would think that August would be a good time to go. It's usually when the Edinburgh Fringe Festival would be, but ironically, I find that in August it always pisses down with rain for whatever reason. You never get a gosh, on a sunny day, Edinburgh takes the cake every time. It's hard to compete. So great to see you, Nikki, and I hope Ross is with you as well. And I do mean that when you guys head to Prague, I very much want to set you up with my friend Isaac, who will show you a fantastic time and give you an insider's view. Now, I've managed to get myself completely confused as to where I exactly am at this point, but I have a general sense of the direction towards the gravesite of the Hunley crew. There's just so much which is catching my eyes. Oh no, this is a sad one. You can see it. How about this, guys? Our little that we don't really think about these days, but infant mortality in the 1860s was very high. So you have a lot of gravestones in these spaces that that are dedicated to young ones. Mark Wieland, meine gute Freund, es ist mir so für eine Freude, dich an dieses Ostern zu grüßen. Frohe Ostern, mein Freund. Und ich hoffe, dass alles gut in deiner Familie ist. Ja? Ich schicke einfach meine Liebe. Mark is a good friend of mine who's watching from the outskirts of Zurich in Switzerland, and always great to see him here. So also a serious tourism professional, helping bring transparency and rebirth to the tourism industry. Here it says, a tribute of affection to a beloved husband. Albert P. Jones. I'm going to step into the memorial space. You guys can get a feeling. Born in Kentucky, September 23rd, 1814. Died in Charleston, South Carolina, April 1st, 1852. He had been a resident for the last 6 years of San Francisco, California. And you think about that, guys. San Francisco, California, from 46 through 1852. I mean, there wasn't a lot there at that time. It was still kind of becoming, so to say. It wasn't yet. Yes. Oh, good, Mark. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear everything is good for you guys right now in Zurich. Very happy for that. And that's part of the magic here, folks, is that we are united together in this community of live streaming. Mark is watching, from Switzerland. Jeanette is watching from Vancouver. Nikki is in Edinburgh right now. Shannon is near Niagara Falls. People are in New Zealand. People are in South America, Mexico. And somehow we're all able to come together through this effort. And gosh, if that isn't incredibly heartwarming for me and special, to know that I get to be part of us joining together in this really cool community and exploring something that we might not have seen and spending an hour together on an Easter Sunday. Check this out. You know what this is? We saw this same visiting the La Unione Italiana cemetery in Tampa, the Italian cemetery. That is a Masonic symbol right there. Sacred to the memory of Jasper Marion, son of P.K. and M.H. Coburn. Ah, how about that, Nikki? Coburn. It's a Scottish name. Although C-O-C-K. Oh, whoa. Chris has had a gimbal failure. Sorry, bear with me. We will return. No stress. All good. Little technical. Just to let you know, for those doubters who thought that it wasn't live, boom, it's live. That's how mistakes happen. Live things. On those post-production guys, those hotty-toddy show people, they edit that stuff out. No. Full transparency for you, my loves. You get to see it as it fails. Quad finger. Okay. Woohoo! Gimbal party, says Shannon. Dang right, Shannon. The gimbal and I both stopped for lunch as we arrived in Charleston, and I won't lie. We had a midday painkiller, or game changer, as they call it. Hi, Jill, out in Arizona right now, I hope still, or maybe you're traveling. Happy Easter to you as well. Great to see you and hear from you. In case you didn't catch it, Jill, we are in Charleston, South Carolina right now, and we're walking around inside the Magnolia and St. Lawrence cemeteries, and we're doing a little exploration of this space. This beautiful sunny day here, it's a small adventure for us on this Sunday. As we go, please, if you see something, you spot something, you're like, oh, Chris, wait, this, that, don't hesitate to ask me to pan around. I'm an extension of your own interest and your own passion. And it's only through the feedback that we share back and forth between us that we can really accomplish, the goal of being more than the sum of our parts, right? Together, we are stronger. And it's an important thing for us to remember, especially as we face some of the troubles that future generations are likely to be challenged by, with climate change, political unrest. So, let me know. I'm here for you. Oh gosh, how about this bush? Look at these flowers. It's not sakura, but you can see the much pinker than the sakura is. Jill says, still back in Arizona, and heading to the Pacific Northwest in May. All right, great. I want to get there soon myself as well. And Lourdes, thank you very much. According to Wikipedia, Lourdes writes, both the square and the compasses are architects' tools and are used in Masonic ritual as emblems to teach symbolic lessons. Love it. Gosh, thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. Shannon asks, why are there walls around some of the grave sites? Are they families within them? Yes, Shannon, that is my understanding. Here's an example of one of those. I know this because, crazy as it sounds, now I've told you guys the story before about my family name heritage, Sandeman, being an old Danish name, actually, that the Danes, when they invaded into northern England and Scotland, picked a clan of Scotsmen and named them the Sandeman, the trusted men, or the sheriffs. And they were magistrates who would travel from town to town. And by doing so, they would kind of, enact law when they'd arrive in those different towns. Everyone would show up and say, oh, this man's, dog killed my sheep. He owes me 4 sheep now. Or this virgin wasn't such a virgin, and I don't know about that. And, it wasn't very modern and progressive times. It was old days. But the Sandeman would arrive and hear these cases and then travel on. Now, one of my ancestors ended up starting a religion called Sandemanianism, and it was a Christian offshoot, and they were very much focused on, it was the kiss of peace and the feast of love and washing each other's feet, Christ-like things. It's appropriate conversation that I've kind of tangentially entered onto right now, well, they weren't proselytizers, which means that they didn't believe in converting other people to their religion, the Sandemanians. And Robert Sandeman, when he would then eventually make the trip to the New World, aiming for Boston, he ended up accidentally in New Haven, Connecticut, where he gave his first sermon in the New World on the New Haven Green at Trinity Church, invited there by the minister named Ezra Stiles. Now, Ezra Stiles would go on to be a president of Yale College. I attended Yale University, Yale College, and I was assigned to the residential hall Ezra Stiles. Turned out it was a complete coincidence. They had no idea of the connection between my ancestor and the namesake of that college. Well, anyway, back to Shannon's question. I traveled to Danbury, Connecticut, which was the old hat capital of the U.S., and there discovered my ancestor, Robert Sandeman, and his family buried in a cemetery which was closed off around their and that was the whole family that was still there. It's pretty interesting. Shannon, is there a mausoleum pyramid? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm standing in front of. Yeah, that's it. Let me read some of it to you guys. I know it's kind of hard to see. I mean, gosh, this does feel a little bit like a vampire might come out here at night. It's quite spooky. It says, in memory of William B. Smith, born 30th November, 1815. Wait, this can't be right. That's very strange. Oh, okay, I see. It says died 23rd of June, 1892. I thought it said 1802 for a second, and it's not. The devoted father, the faithful Christian, the large intelligence, the wise counselor. What a nice epitaph for this gentleman. The path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. I mean, it's a little bit hard to read, but you guys can kind of see that. Yes, thank you guys for the warnings of mummies and zombies. Not a fan of either one of them, but let's see. If you see something jump out at me, this is not an act, this is not a show, please call the police. I've been vampirized. Oh, looks like there's some things in there kind of broken down. Oh, it's in disrepair inside. It's ruinous inside a little bit. Oh, there's an echo. Wow, it's spooky. It's cooler. I can feel a coldness in it. And Jeanette, thank you for sharing about your ancestors who also settled in the north of England, the Wilkins, then creatively the Wilkinsons. Love it. Really love it. Are you guys enjoying this? Is this worth your time right now? I don't want to waste it, and I know that your time is precious, but I also want to share with you guys, but I don't want to share stuff and make you feel like you have to watch what I'm doing to you as well. So glass window on this side. The other side is gorgeous. Was there a glass? Let me go around really quick. Yeah, Joe. Oh, thank you, Jill. Appreciate it. Okay, thanks, Diana. Appreciate that. Okay. Good eyes on Shannon. Shannon is our spotter, guys. If you wanna know what's going on, Shannon's always gonna be a good one. She's got eagle eyes to see it. Yeah. Oh God, Shannon, you're right. I'm so glad that I swung back over here. There's a chalice up there at the top. Let's see if I can get there. It almost looks like the Holy Grail a little bit. Great. Okay, great. Yes, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Lorraine, Musha, for coming in. Interesting. Well, then we'll continue, yes? Right, onwards, shall we? All right. We're on the hunt for the Hunley, as they say, which is this crew of sailors from the Confederate service ship, which was the first U.S. submarine used to try to balance the tides, so to say, between the Union and the Confederacy. The Hunley didn't have a circulating air system, so when they dived underwater, it was really tough for the people to breathe, and they didn't have torpedoes, so they had like a lance, and affixed to the end of the lance was oh, here we go. This is a good sign. Here's a clue. Hunley. To the left. All right, let's do it that way then. Yeah, you could see better with the light coming from the other side. It's true. Yeah, it's true. Maybe I'll swing by there on the way back out again. Thanks, Shannon, for that. So the Hunley had this lance attached to the end of the ship, and the lance, it had like an explosive device at the end of the lance, and the idea is it would ram a ship and then it would detonate in the water, doing damage to the hull of the ship below the waterline, forcing it to sink, right? Michaela has a really good, as creepy as Père Lachaise, which is the cemetery in Paris, where I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Michaela, isn't that where Jim Morrison is buried? Is he buried there in Père Lachaise? The lead singer from The Doors. Pretty sure that's where he is, as well as no doubt many other famous Frenchmen. We get another sense of Shannon's walled off plot sites. Okay, great. Thank you, Michaela, for confirming that. Here we go. Oh, look at this. I don't mean to cross, but I don't see any stones right where I'm walking. And here's something more recent, and you can tell because, I mean, these are all kind of a little bit faded. Get a little closer. And it's like all older, whereas this one here, you can really see what we're looking at because this gentleman, Marion B. Halsey, and I'd say Marion would be a woman's name today, but I'm pretty sure it was a male. It's a male, this person, because they were first lieutenant, the 94 engineers in World War II, in June 12th, 1909 through November 15th, 1955. So more recent. Oscar Wilde, Michaela says, also buried at Père Lachaise. Thank you for that. Shannon, you're right. It is tough for people to breathe underwater, unless you happen to be one of Bernard Coe's merlions, in which case you're from Singapore and you're a mythical creature, and of course you can breathe very happily under. Merman or mermaid, a werefish, ow, blah 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 blah. All sorts of mythical things happening in Singapore. How about that Singapore tour? there was some not always perfect data connection, but gosh, it was really interesting to go to Singapore. I've never been, and I really want to. We found it, by the way, here on the left. I know what you're thinking. What are all these flags? And they are the so-called stars and bars, and that's a Confederate battle flag. Again, we're not going to talk in detail about the wrongs of the Confederacy, which were many. Instead, we're just going to pay homage to these human beings who gave up their lives following the orders that they were given. I won't go into detail about how I necessarily feel about the maintenance of these flags, which for many a symbol of some of the great failures of this country and the inequity of a document such as the Bill of Rights or the Constitution, which calls for equality but didn't ever really deliver it for women or minorities. Even today, what's going on in Georgia, it's heartbreaking. But cheers to the baseball associations and Delta and Coca-Cola for taking a stand. We should always want to have inclusive democracies where everyone's vote is counted and valued. So, yeah, Michaela, the crosses look like the German crosses in World War II. It's true. She's talking about the Iron Cross, the Eisenkreuz, which is over here. Worth going back to it. And it's not it's sad in a way, but the third referred to the US as an inspiration for some of their actions and choices. So be careful what seeds you sow. One doth not know what fruit you will one day harvest from those plantings. So, and here we have the Hunley. Get out of the way. So these were the different crews who served on the Hunley and didn't seem very successful. Here rests the third and final crew of the Confederate submarine H.L. Hunley, died February 17, 1864, after sinking the USS Housatonic, the first successful act of submarine warfare, buried here April 17, 2004. The light, I feel like I'm continuously backlighting you guys. The Housatonic, by the way, is a river that runs through or nearby New Haven, Connecticut, through Orange, Connecticut. I spent years rowing on that bloody river. Gosh. Here rests the crew of the Confederate submarine Hunley, died on October 15th, 1863. That's a year before, February, October, November, December, January, 4 months. 4 months before the other crew over there. And this one, here rests the crew of the Confederate submarine Hunley, died on October 15th, 1863, when making a practice dive in the harbor. I think they ran out of air. I think that was them. And here rests the crew of the Confederate submarine H.L. Hunley, died August 29th, 1863. August, September, October, November. You guys listening to me count badly. 3 months. 3 months earlier, these guys near the Fort Johnson on James Island reinterred here on March 25th, 2000. 3 crews. And I mean, like, as crazy as that sounds, you kind of have to respect. You can't respect can't respect what the Confederacy was fighting for, standing for. But you got to respect these guys on the third crew. The first 2 crews had perished. They'd all died, and the third crew still signed up and got into the submarine, and then finally had a successful attack. I mean, there's something there. Didn't the Swastika? Shannon asked, didn't the Swastika mean something different too before the? The swastika is originally, I believe, an ancient Sanskrit or Indian from the subcontinent Indian symbol, meaning peace, I believe. And but the Nazis, they were just geniuses of propaganda. Sorry if I'm just going to quickly adjust my. but as it's a little bit less windy now, I feel like I can reattach it. The Nazis were geniuses of absorbing stories and other aspects of older German culture and making it seem as if it was part of Nazi history instead. And the story of the Rheingold, you know, and the hero associated with the Rheingold or the Rhine. Michaela, what was his name again? It wasn't Adalbert. Can't remember. But this idea of this gold underneath the river and the dragon and such. And masters of propaganda. In fact, FDR, the American president, as well as the Russians, they learned a lot from the Nazis about how to do effective propaganda. And one of the things that the Nazis would do is that, or the Third Reich would do, is that they would absorb these other aspects of German culture, and it wasn't connected to Nazi history, but they would argue that it was, and that it was part of that legacy, and very effectively so, as part of their manipulation. You know, in fact, Goebbels, one of the things he did was he would make radios. And these radios would have two channels. One channel would receive classical music, and the other channel, the other station, would let you listen to Goebbels talk. And this way he could reach the people. And FDR took that idea. Goebbels was the propaganda minister of the Third Reich. So I did tours in Germany for a long time, and I was a concentration camp memorial tour guide at the Sachsenhausen Gedenkstätte, the Sachsenhausen concentration camp memorial outside of Berlin for 10 years. Most important tours I ever did in my life, telling that history. And the reason why it was so important was that so many people mistakenly believe that the Holocaust is the story of the Jews and the Germans. In my opinion, it isn't. It's the story of mankind, of humanity. It's easy for us to blame the Germans and say, oh, well, look what they've done here. It's just a way for us to sidestep the fact that the potential evil, the potential for darkness exists in all human beings. There's this little seed inside of us to do evil and to do wrong. And it's a choice that we have to make, to do good instead, right? Because like the only thing that evil needs to succeed is that good people do nothing. So when you think about the Holocaust and the Third Reich, don't say, Germans and Jews. Say, this is humanity. And left to its own devices, human beings have the potential to do this kind of evil. Genocide existed before the Nazis and existed after the Nazis. I'm not excusing them for any of that. Not excusing them whatsoever. I'm just saying that to say it was all the Nazis it's wrong. It's not true. And it lets us off the hook as humanity to not be actively, consistently paying attention to what's going on around us, right? To make sure that it doesn't happen again. History doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but bloody hell, it echoes throughout time, right? So you got to stay vigilant about that stuff. It's a slippery slide. It goes fast, you know, and democracy's institutions are fragile. The only thing that really sustains them is our belief in them and us working together to support them. So anyway, enough soapboxing from Chris. Let's continue with the tour. Sorry about that. Just a quick tangent. You're kind to say so, Rebecca. You're kind to say so. You know, Shannon, I would actually, and I would, you know, I love you, and I'm a huge Shannon fan. But even the word gypsy, I won't use it anymore. It's not a really, you know, if you want to be appropriate, you should say Sinti or Roma, because gypsy is already this negative connotation. So people that gyp you, right, that are stealing from you. And the Sinti and Roma people, who probably actually originate, ironically, very close to where that symbol, that Sanskrit symbol of the Swastika originates from the south continent, the subcontinent. They migrated from India at one point or another, we believe, genetically, and ended up in Europe, Romania, especially Bulgaria, but all over. Wow, this is really cool. This is R. Barnwell Rhett. And if you guys remember, Rhett is a very famous name in this area. When we were in Beaufort with Bill Reynolds, we visited the Rhett House at one point. In fact, it's where we started the tour. And you can see that this family plot that we're walking through right now is a Rhett family plot. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, Shannon, you know, I mean, I wouldn't have told someone else it. I just know, we haven't met. I mean, guys, people have asked me, how long have you and Shannon known each other now? Well, Shannon and I have never met before. But I do feel like I've come to know Shannon a little bit in the way that I feel like Shannon's come to know me a little bit. And that's the only reason why I told you, Shannon. It wasn't to throw shade whatsoever, only because, gosh, I just feel like I know you a little bit, and I know that you'd want to know that. So, you know, because of who you are. That's, you know, you're a good human being, and I'm happy to be your friend. I'm happy to be part of your community. It really touches my heart. So, thank you, Shannon, for being here and for taking that information on so well. Yeah, I know, right? Just been a couple months on streaming, but when it's live, it's real somehow in a different way than when something's a video. So, yeah, very cool. It's a cool community that we're building here. Really neat group of people. Really caring, considerate, interested people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Michaela is just commenting about the evolution of the language in German to move away from certain words. Like, for instance, a certain dessert piece where you have foam, like a marshmallow foam, on top of a wafer, a thin wafer that's covered in chocolate. And it had a name that wasn't so appropriate, and now it's called Schokoladen-Schaumkussen instead of a word that sounds very much like a CSS term for black people, begins with an N, and it would be the N-word Kussen instead. Oh, Michaela wrote it. Thank you. You said it, not me. And it has a different connotation, of course, but you get the idea. So. Yeah, Schaumkusse. Foam kisses. Hey, Diana, thank you for that. And Nikki, I feel like I'm part of the Nikki and Ross fan club, to be honest with you. And that's one of the things which is so beautiful about it, is that, yeah, I sort of feel like we're all in each other's fan clubs. This is just to show you that close to the rest of the cemetery. If I just do a quick, at the edge right here, over here where the Hunter family has a little bit of a plot. And then as you turn around, this is like Alligator Alley over here. Definitely alligatoral, I'd imagine. Would not go swimming in there. Alligator experts will tell me whether true or not. Well, we're coming up on almost a whole hour, and an hour is what we're going to keep this at, guys. So it's just another 6.5 minutes, and then I'm going to, even though there's more to see here, it's going to be another time. And there's so many other times. So keep out, of course, I'm going right to it, because you know me. See a sign that says keep out, I'm like, ooh, what's there? No. Oh, wow. The vampires got out. They let the vampires out. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Shannon, am I? Or what? Oh, I don't know. I'd be so scared. I don't want to do it by myself. I'd be too freaked out, I think. Yeah. I mean, kind of interesting, right? Going to a tomb where it looks like the tomb has been broken open, especially on this day of all days. Was there someone there? Did they rise again? You know, a second coming, so to say. This one's in much better condition. I really like this. Yeah, good question, Michaela. Do vampires need the COVID shot? I mean, they drink blood, right? And can they? But then they're also immortal. Huh. Tricky one. I'm going to ask Sarah Michelle Gellar next time I see her to give me a quick Buffy breakdown on that. Here we have a mixed, looks like the McDowells and a rag died in Savannah. This gentleman over here, 1870. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Good point, Shannon. They wouldn't have gotten that sign up so fast if the resident had just gotten out today. Well, maybe it was a previous Easter then. Ricker Cyrus. How's the signal, guys? Am I still coming through sharp? I'm looking at my other phone, and it has good bars. So I just want to make sure you're still getting good bars over here. Here's a Wilkes Mausoleum. Just tell me in the comments, just, you know, Shannon or whoever, you're still getting good signal on YouTube and Facebook, just so I know. Always let me know again if there's lag or anything like that. Helps me a ton to do a better job for you guys. Is that the same mausoleum, the same pyramid that we went through before? Or is that a different pyramid over there? I think it's the same one, isn't it? Am I heading back the way that I came? So maybe I'll go this way, huh? Over here really quick. Oh, good. Thank you, Nikki. So I'm thinking about doing a live stream with 1080 instead of 720 because I was watching our friend Dai from Localized Japan doing a tour last night in Tokyo, who is actually doing a tour with us in Tokyo next week. I mean, we're doing one together as a collaboration, live streamers uniting worldwide kind of stuff. And he was doing it at 1080, and it looked amazing. But then every once in a while, he got hit by some lag, and that's the trick of how much data can you send before the data starts to say, not happy with you. I wish you guys were physically here with me. I want to give you all a big hug right now because it's a beautiful day. It is incredibly peaceful here. Incredibly peaceful. Our father and mother, Joseph Yates, born November 16th, 1776, guys. 1776. Incredible. Died February 7th, 1822. Elizabeth Ann Yates, born January 8th, 1787, died November 3rd, 1867. She lived to be 80 years old. That's massive. That is massive. Incredible. Incredible. Wow. Yeah, really, it's just really peaceful here. Really lovely. Yeah, you know, Shannon, I should always do a quick test, like a little stream test. But often I'm just in a rush. And I can't tell you guys enough that right now I'm working 80 hours a week, and there's so many things. There's so many things that I want to do and that I have on my work plate to try to catch up on. And I know I'm missing things. I know I'm not, getting up and putting thumbnails up on the videos fast enough. I know I'm not editing the videos quickly enough. And I feel like I'm letting you guys down a lot of the time because I'm not living up to my own expectations of what my standard would be to get the work done the right way. But I also want to keep on getting more videos for you. I want to keep on scheduling with guides and explaining to them what we're doing and getting them to be part of this project. And it's been 6 months of 80-hour weeks, and I'm not complaining. I'm happy. I'm super happy about it. But I do sometimes feel like I let you guys down a little bit by not delivering the quality that I would do if I had, another 2 arms and 2 legs, or a team kind of to help us do it. Yeah, thank you, Jeanette. I appreciate it. I'm not looking for cheerleaders. I mean, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it to be a whinger about it. I'm happy with it. This is I'm just reporting it and just telling you how it is, and I do appreciate it. And Shannon, you already helped so much. You're so amazing, and I just don't feel right to ask for help. It'll get better. I'll muscle through. It's gonna be fine. It's not. Look. Anyway, sorry, I shouldn't have said it. Moment of weakness. Edit that out later. This is really interesting, this statue here. It feels like this is like a well. T.A. Coffin, appropriately named. I don't really understand what this is. It feels like there's a cap. This T.A. Coffin. Some of the statues come off. This one. I just don't know what it is. Oh, we've got an hour. All right. Well, let's start walking out and we'll head back over towards the car. This is a neat one too. Look at this. Born 23rd October 1835, died 15th August 1870. That's after the end of the Civil War. Angels guard this new immortal. Oh, what a great way to say it. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. No, I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, you know, like I guess they say, right, that great is the enemy of good. But I always want it to be sort of a perfectionist, aren't I? And thank you, Nikki. Guys, I'm sorry. I really apologize for even saying it, because now I don't want you to feel like you have to reach out and be like, oh God, Chris, you're doing a good job. Like, I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. And, you know, it's all hearts here. It's all hearts. So, Alfred Raoul, MD. Oh, it's a doctor, this one. For what doctoring was in the 1800s. October 19th, 1815, September 13th, 1885. Well, 70 years, he was doing something right. Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden. Sorry. Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden. Laden? Laden? This is Americanism, perhaps. Yeah, right, Shannon, the headless statues, and thank you, Jill. Where am I headed next? I am headed up to, I'm headed up to New York on Tuesday, apologies, to get my, to get this finger checked out, where I got hit by try and spin and give you some light, where I got hit by this guy when I was on my bike, who opened his car door. And holding the gimbals, like in your hand, you're always holding it, and my finger is starting to get like a little bit wonky, a little bit beat up from it, and just have to go see the doctor again while the insurance still covers it. We don't have that wonderful Canadian healthcare system, or you know, the amazing NHS. NHS is just incredible, but we don't have that. So I need the insurance from the car accident to just make sure that I can even get treated for the damage to my hand. But you know, I bounce back fast, and it's not my first accident. You know, you're gonna get some scars if you take enough risks, right? And I'd rather get knocked down and get back up than never have stood up to begin with in the first place. So, in the memory of my beloved wife Sarah Ann, born 1833, died 1854. Yeah. Well. Oh, no way, Nikki. Hey, Nikki. Thank you for your service. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that only military people get recognized by most nations for their service. People that work for the national health services, or doctors, teachers, I mean, these are real heroes for all of our countries, especially right now, but before, just as much, unrecognized. Thank you, Nikki. Didn't know that. Maybe you told me before and I forgot. I apologize. You deserve recognition. Thank you. Ross, be proud of her. Special person there. Oh gosh, Michaela, you're a nurse in Germany too? Oh gosh, you guys. Hey, Michaela, thank you so much. And I'm not putting anyone else to the side on that. Just super grateful for your guys' service towards caring for others. That compassion. We don't learn that naturally as human animals. We choose to become human beings. Shannon, tow truckers, people who are in trouble, their cars are broken down, you know, or stuck in the snow, and you help them get out. Like, You help them get out of the snow when their polar bears can't start and they've got to ride to the igloo. I'm just messing around, Shannon. No, but seriously, respect as well to you as well. I'm not trying to make light of it, but you know, the legends of the polar bears and all of that in Canada. Okay, well look, on that note, it's probably a good time for me to give you guys one last pan around where I am and then let you go and enjoy the rest of your wonderful Sundays. Whether you are religious or not, whether you're celebrating Easter or Passover or any other religion, or just you know, humanity. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing this time with me. I respect you guys a ton. It means a lot to me to grab a couple moments with you and share this space, which I've been wanting to share for a while, and just spontaneously was able to come out and show you the Magnolia Cemetery right now before I go and pass out super hard from not getting a ton of sleep last night after joining Shohei for his Kyoto live stream music experience, which was really cool. And Shannon, it was great to hang out with you on that too. Well, how much fun was that? Shohei's such a talent. He's such a good talent. You guys can see that up. So, signing off from Charleston, South Carolina and the Magnolia Cemetery. I wish you all a very, very happy Easter. I wish you all health and safe travels when you start to resume them. I will see you again very soon from New York, probably most likely is my next live stream. Good night, be well, take care of yourselves and take care of the people that you love and take care of the strangers around you as well, right? If we don't help each other, nobody's gonna help us. Be in peace, take care. Love you guys, take care, bye.